We all want honesty and authenticity, right? And vulnerability. I'm going to be as honest as I know to be, and I might offend a lot of people in saying this. I have been watching a few videos on narcissism by Professor Sam Vaknin. And he is a cerebral narcissist, and he's very intelligent, and he makes so much sense. And he's peeled back a few layers in analyzing the narcissist. And I mentioned this before in a musing, how the traits of narcissism overlay almost what we call our spiritual awakening, or my spiritual awakening. I should just keep it within my sphere. And what prompted my sudden departure from Christianity and from Jesus and all of that religious content, that religious narrative. When I'm honest and I really do some soul searching, I have to lead it back to being so wounded in the name of God and in the name of Jesus. In fact, the deepest wounds I have ever sustained were put on me in the name of God. And so that became a deep, festering pain, wound at my core. I think without exception. I mean, Christian people have treated me nice and loving as long as I am compliant, as long as I am in agreement with their beliefs. But as soon as I deviate just a little bit, the daggers come out. And I can almost say wholesale, across the board with Christianity, is that the people that professed a belief in God and a love for God are the people that wounded me most deeply. And as a result of that, the word God and Jesus have become a bad reality to my soul. My soul, my psyche equates God and Jesus with pain, with rejection, with abandonment. And this has accumulated over the years. But what really, the straw that broke the camel's back was when my mom died with cancer. And 3 years after that, when I met my so-called twin flame, who washed and bathed me in unconditional love and then dropped me just dropped me cold. You see, the wound is still there. It's still there. And so, when you experience this again and again, and you get disappointed and hurt in the name of love, you don't want anything to do with it anymore. And this is at the core where my soul has decided it's enough. I'm done with God, with this idea of God and the idea that people have about God and love in the name of God. I'm done with all that. And so, here's where the narcissistic trait might have come in. And that is where the responsibility for loving me has fallen on me. I have to be the one to love myself. I'm the only one that can do it without hurting myself. And this is what every narcissist does. They're just self-protecting. And I know some go to such an extent where they make the life of other people hell. I don't do that. I don't enter into any relationships because that's not something I want to do. And I'm too hurt to bother with a relationship with someone else for fear of getting hurt and them getting hurt by me. I don't need to put that on anyone. But this is the truth. This is the naked truth. We can cloak it in spiritual language and call it awakening. And yes, I have had an awakening. I have had an awakening to self-realization. I understand that in reality, and that which we call God, is all interconnected. There is no special person in heaven that is God. God is everything. And God manifests through everything. But I no longer delude myself in this fictitious idea of some Santa in the sky. All right? That is just an escapism and coping mechanism. A different kind of coping mechanism. To escape into God, to soothe our pain. But you're just putting a band-aid on. Right? So, yes, and so this is why it can look like I am a narcissist, because I equate myself to God. And there's truth to that in the metaphysical sense. But on a purely human level, let's just talk about pain and psychological pain. Even that serves as a means to cope with the pain of rejection. If I become quote unquote God, if I become the highest authority in my life, a sovereign soul, we call it in spiritual circles, if I am that, I can alleviate future pain of being hurt by a being that is an authority over me, quote unquote God. In making myself, in identifying myself as that and with that. And it is a reality. Jesus is known to say that even in the scriptures. I and the Father, I and God are one. And on a metaphysical sense, that is truth. But I have to deal with human issues. And humans use spirituality to cope and to bypass their pain. And I'm just recognizing that this could even be a pattern to try and protect myself from this core pain. Everyone else outside of me has disappointed and hurt me at one time. That's the truth. That's the reality. And I am just trying to cope. And this is my expression now, is the reason for that. And I'm understanding that. I have been so deeply hurt. And I will not accept any gaslighting from anybody. I don't care what you believe. You can be happy in your beliefs. It just doesn't work for me anymore. It's been destroyed. That trust in a God outside of me has totally been decimated at a human level. And to no fault of my own. I don't own that. I forgive that. I forgive the people. I understand why people do that, because they also are in the protective pattern of just coping and protecting themselves, and hurt people hurt people. That's the life of humanity, the reality of humanity. So yeah, I'm done with anything religious, spiritual, Christian, God, any of that outside of me. I have to rely on myself and become my own fulfillment. That's the truth. And all I'm trying to do is to not get hurt and to not hurt others. That's my life goal. If I can make it, I think that's pretty good.